Ready? Anyway, right next to Matt. Matt's been with me. I mean, no, been with me. Right. You've been staying with me for I guess past 3 or 4 weeks.
Is that how long it's been?
I have no idea.
3, maybe 2.5.
2.5 weeks and 7 days and 5 hours. Or not counting. Anyway, I just want to make a comment. This is the first time in history since I'm doing YouTubes that I haven't had my hand around somebody. You're first time ever. I guess you're very comfortable with that. Yeah. Anyway, Matt's here as my interpreter of what I really want to say and what I mean. Anyway, the big talk today is on protein. A lot of people have questions on protein, and Matt's going to give you a definitive answer that you can take to your friends, your relatives, when they ask you what about the protein. Dad.
Yeah, it was your 30-day class.
My 30-day class.
You have 30. Almost 30. Oh, you have almost 30 people in that class.
I do. I have a lot of people.
So every week we have a class, and one of the things that came up was somebody was asking a question about protein, and it's an important question to ask, and it's another importance to be able to know how to answer it in an intelligent way. Most people, we just tell them simply, if somebody asks you how you get your protein, you ask them how they think they get their protein, and chances are they'll have no idea, but they have this sort of this empirical straw man on their side, because there's all this just rhetoric from the general medical nutritional community about everybody needs their protein, so they can kind of use that. It's already culturally charged, even though they have no basis or explanation for it. The idea of protein is that a protein is just a general word to describe any chain of amino acids. That's all a protein is. So just to say something's a protein, it's a very, very poor superficial description of an element of food. What's most important is the amino acids in that chain. The amino acids are actually what the body uses. And the amino acids vary. They vary in kind, and they also vary in sequence. So certain proteins will have certain amino acids grouped together, and other proteins will have different groupings of amino acids. But it's really important not only the type of amino acid, but the proportion of amino acids to one another. And all you really have to know is that the best quality, type, and proportion of amino acids is in fruits and vegetables. That's like, a gorilla, a cow, anything that eats just greens and vegetation. That's how there's so much just full muscle. And that's why people are saying you don't get enough protein, or I'm a muscle builder, I need more protein. It's nonsense. It's not pseudoscience. It's not backed up with anything real. It's just this charged thing built by an institution. It's an idea that's perpetuated by some institution.
What are you saying about monkeys? They're really strong, right?
Yeah.
I mean, super strong. And where do they get their protein from?
Fruits and vegetables.
Uh-huh.
See, it's like this is what I said in the class. This is what I said in the class, and Chuck, that's why we helped people put it together.
Yeah, Chuck is very impressed.
Amino acids are raw materials. There's certain amino acids that we need in different proportions. The more complicated the combination of those amino acids, the more difficult it is for our body to take apart that protein chain and utilize those amino acids. So in things like in meats especially, but even in plant-based proteins like the hemps and the nuts and seeds and any of those really heavy quote-unquote protein foods, because they're so by volume they're high in protein, those protein chains are complicated and complex, and it takes more energy for our body to break down those chains and use those different amino acids. But in fruits and vegetables, those amino acids are a very simple form. They're readily available. So it's like for instance, if you have I think Doug Graham might have used this analogy or something, or somebody did. I forget who it was. But if you want to make a dress, if you want to go, you're going to a prom or something, and you're making a dress, you can go to the thrift store and you can get 100 dresses and chop up each dress and try to use different parts of each dress and try to make them work together and try to fit them, and they're all different sizes, so it's this complicated kind of thing with all this kind of patchwork going on. Or if you want to get your amino acids from the fruit and vegetable sources, it's like going to a material store and getting just thread and fabric rolls and all this kind of stuff where you can customize and put these things together from the raw material. And that's why it's important to understand that the amino acids are what's important. And in fruits and vegetables, there is the proper type and quantity and ratio of amino acids. In the complicated, complex foods that we call protein foods, like the meats and the soys and all those kind of things, they're called protein foods because they're mostly protein, but the proteins are complicated and they're hard to break down. They're inefficient. So it's a matter of understanding quality.
Are they usable by the body though?
What?
proteins you get from an outside source like meat protein?
Barely. I
Barely.
mean, it's like, here's the other thing. If you cook a protein, take a protein chain, every amino has to be able to disconnect from the chain to be used. When you cook something, you literally fuse those protein chains, those peptide bonds. You literally lock them up, and the body it's almost impossible for the body to separate amino acids. That's when you have big blocks of protein that get caught in the blood, cause allergic reactions, cause kidney issues, and things like that. And so that's a huge issue with cooked protein, whether it's meat or beans or anything like that. When you lock those peptide bonds in the cooking process, that's when you have the allergies and the reactions and all those kinds of things. So
Well, the body's always trying to break it up, right?
yeah, the body will do. And if
We'll
the
do
body,
whatever it
if
takes
the
to
body,
break it
if it's
up.
too hard for the body to break it up by regular means, it uses white blood cells, the immune system, immune functions, and then you can
But
start
it
developing
also
immune
stored as
deficiency.
fat, right?
It'll swell. Protein
I don't know.
usually generally puts it into the blood, and then usually
Puts it
it's
in
an
the blood.
immune response has to be called to take it out. That's why it causes allergies and reactions, because it's actually an immune response.
In other words, if you eat meat and the body can't break it up, because it's
It
such
becomes as
It gets
a
in the
high
bloodstream.
alert as a
that means
pathogen
someone
or
with
virus.
any allergy gets an allergy because of generally the meat products. You think?
I think it's a probably up in the 90th percentile. For
90th
for people
percentile.
getting allergies, it's based on having undigestible proteins or something in the bloodstream that can't be broken down. You know, like the toxic acids.
You're the allergy people.
Toxic acids get stored as fat and stuff. The protein chains generally they need to be broken down, or they end up getting into the liver and or kidneys and causing different functions like that. So it's really important. So when anybody asks you where you get your protein, ask them what. You can ask them where they get their protein and ask them what protein is. If they don't, they can't tell you. If they don't know what amino acids are and the kind of amino acids, then they have no business asking you any questions about protein. They should probably just ask you. And the other thing is too, it's like all this empirical information. It's not that necessary because we know that the best source of these things is from fruits and vegetables, and there's so many other very clear anatomical and physiological evidence that fruits and vegetables are a natural food. We don't have to get everything under the microscope and create this big huge world of dissection and vivisection and x-ray and all this stuff so that we can have these concrete words for everything and make that everything so institutional. We know fruits and vegetables are our food from many other intuitive sources, and it'll always be true across the board to get all of our nutrients. So it's not that important to have all this like empirical data in your head. It's just a matter of living intuitively and trying to get closer to your natural lifestyle.
I agree. Anything else?
That's good.
That's good. Anyway,
we'll do another video soon.
We'll do another video soon. Anyway, it's Life from Arnold's Way about protein. I want to mention something. Mention my book.
Yeah, I like it. Good one.
This actually, my book just came out. It's called Chocolate Recipes for Everyone. In my mind, basically focus on fruit and vegetables as the main source of food. That's what I like about that.
Yeah.
I got 2 kids looked at it today.
2 kids bought it today.
2 kids bought it!
3. You sold 3 today.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Wow. I mean, kid looked at it and said, man, this is a really good book.
Somebody came in that was right up my alley because I saw them look at it and I heard it across my ear. They said, like, "Oh, look at the anthropomorphic visions of the fruit."
Did you say that?
So this girl said that, but I thought Arnold would have to get the dictionary.
What did she say?
So look at the anthropomorphic fruit on the book. It just means like something that takes the form of a human. It's something person. It's like personification, but it's a
Oh,
different.
wow, I like that. Anyway, this is Live from Arnold's Way with Matt and Joy behind the phone and promote the smartest dog ever who understands the nature of life. Do nothing, live quietly.
It's only for her to understand.
Yeah, only for her, be at peace. Anyone talk about your farm briefly? No.
Next video.
Next video. Okay, bye.